Okay, hi everyone. Today we are looking at direct and inverse proportion. Okay, this is even though it's secondary 2, right? But we definitely can apply whatever knowledge that we have over here into secondary 3, secondary 4. Okay, all right. So now the first question that I want to go through is on page number 3 because my student needed some help for this question. So over here, right, when it comes to the first part, right, you can see that in our worksheet we have categorized them based on concepts. So the first one, as you can see, this is under what? Direct proportion, okay? So whatever I'm going to say right now is going to be about direct proportion. Is that okay? All right. So now when you look at a question like that, the first thing you want to recognize is this, which is super important, right? So this is x is directly proportionate to the square root of y. So this is the first thing that you will do, correct now? And I always tell my students that the first thing they want to find out is the value of the constant, which is k. Am I making sense? So in this situation, what you do is, in order for k to be my unknown, I need to make sure that x and y, there must be values. Do you understand or don't understand? So 16 is equals to k square root 64. Can you understand or don't understand? All right, then 16 is equals to k. Well, when you do square root 64, what happens? When you do square root 64, you get to an answer of 8. Agree or disagree? All right, from here, I will continue with 8k is equals to 16. K is actually equals to 16 divided by 8. K is actually equals to an answer of 2. Can you understand? All right, but this is not the answer, right? With this over here, your job is to create x is equals to, instead of k, you will now replace it to 2 with a square root y. Am I making sense? Okay, so this is your answer when they say an equation connecting x and y. Agree or disagree? Okay, once you have this, the next part of the question says that, hey, you know what? When x is equals to 18, when x is equals to 18, right, what is the value of y? So this is what you get, true? Now, so a lot of people will be like, oh wait, how do I separate 2 away? How do I remove 2 away? Because over here we have to do something called SFST. What is the meaning of SFST? I tell my students that that is basically what we call same family sit together, right? All right, it's called the superset. Am I making sense? So there's a multiplication over here. So how do I remove the 2? In order for me to remove the 2, I have to do 18 divided by 2, which is equal to square root y. Can you understand or not understand? So once you have this, you'll know that 9 is equals to square root y, correct now? In order for me to remove away the square root, what should I do? I should square this part. Am I making sense? All right, so when I square this part, what happens is that I will get to an answer of 81. So 81 equals to y. So therefore, the value of y when x is equals to 18 is 81. Am I making sense? Okay, and that's how you would do a question like this. Now, so in the next question, right, as you can see over here, it says that p is directly proportionate to q squared, correct now? It is known that p is 6, so 6 is over here, k is over here, right? This is 4 to the power of 2. Can you understand? So 6 is equals to 16k. Now, my encouragement to everyone is always to find k first. You understand or not? Because k is the constant. That means it doesn't change. Right? So over here, in order for you can write 16k equals to 6. So to find k, we basically do 6 over 16. Do you understand? All right, when I do 6 over 16, right, I will definitely get k equals to what? In fraction form is 3 over 8. Do you understand? Okay, so express p in terms of q, what you're going to do is you are really going to just say what? P is equals to 3 over 8 q squared. Can you understand or not understand? Okay, so that's your first answer. Got it? Okay, so once I'm done with that, right? Since I know that is the equation, I'm going to write this down, right? And then what I will do is I will sub in what? P equals to what? 24. So 24 equals to 3 over 8 q squared. Make sense? All right, so q squared is equals to what? 24 divided by 3 over 8. Is this something that you can understand? When you do 24 divided by 3 over 8, you press your calculator properly, you get to 64 equals to q squared. Now, my question to you is, do you leave it like that? No, right? Why? Because you have to find the value of q, right? Agree or disagree? Okay, so I will have q squared is equals to 64. To find q, I will basically have to square root plus minus 64. Do you understand? So q is equals to what? Positive 8 or positive 8 or negative 8. You get what I'm trying to say? All right, do you need to have the plus or the don't need? Okay, so that's your answer for this question. Now then we continue on with our direct proportion. You can see, right? Y is directly proportionate, so k bracket x squared plus 1. Can you understand? All right, and y equals to 10. Y equals to 10. 10 equals to k bracket x squared is 7 to the power of 2 plus 1. Can you understand? So 10 is equals to k bracket 49 plus 1. 10 is equals to k bracket 50. Make sense or don't make sense? All right, this basically means there's a what? There's a what over here? There's a multiplication over here. Do you understand? All right, there's a multiplication over here. All right, so we know that this is basically 50k is equals to 10. All right, k is equals to 10 over 50. So k is equals to 1 over 5. Do you understand? To form our equation, what is going to happen is y equals to 1 over 5 bracket x squared plus 1. Okay, so that's your answer for the first part. Can you understand? Now, of course, if you want to put 0.5 as this, you will also be given the marks, no issue at all. Okay. All right. So if this is your answer, right? Okay, you can write it in the blank over there, right? Sorry, I meant 0.2, not 0.5. You understand? Okay, now then use whatever that is over here, to go and solve the second part, right? It says that y equals to 1 over 5 bracket 4 to the power of 2 plus 1. Can you understand? All right, so then over here, what you're going to do is y is equals to 1 over 5. This is 16, 16 plus 1. We continue from here. All right, so we continue from here. We say that y is equals to 1 over 5 bracket 17. Can you understand or not understand? Okay, when we do 1 over 5 times 17, we get to an answer of y equals to 3.4. Is this something that you can understand? Okay, now of course, then once again, right now they are changing it to what? Let's see, I always write out first, right? And what you're going to sub in? You're going to sub 1 over 4 in. Can you understand? 1 over 4 equals to 1 over 5 bracket x squared plus 1. Does that make sense to you? All right, so how are you going to, you're going to bring the 1 over 5 over. Does that make sense to you? 1 over 4 divided by 1 over 5. Why divide? Because there's a multiplication over here. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so you have this, right? So when I do 1 over 4 divided by 1 over 5, we get to an answer of what? 5 over 4. True? Equals to x squared plus 1. Does that make sense to you? All right, then after that, from here, you continue. You say that 5 over 4 minus 1 is equals to x squared. Is this something that you can understand? All right, then over here, you get 1 over 4 is equals to x squared. So for x, is basically square root plus minus 1 over 4. Do you understand or don't understand? All right, when you square root 1 over 4, what happens is that you will get to x is equals to what? Half or what? What is the other one? If you were to put minus, have you punch in your calculator, when you do negative 1 over 4 square root, you get to negative half as well. Can you understand? Okay, and that's your answer for this question. So the first thing you are going to do, if in order for you to prove, right, if y is directly proportional to x, what do you have to do? In order for you to prove this point, explain if y is directly proportional to x, right? So what you're going to do is you can see x is 1, y is 3. Agree or disagree? Okay, so what you're going to do, you say y is equals to what? Kx first. Am I making sense? So you just sub in 3, 3 equals to k bracket 1. Agree or disagree? So what's my k? 3 is very good, very good. All right, so in this situation, you know, right, this is k equals to 3. Can you understand? Now, so how do you go and how do you go and prove it? Very simple. Now you know you're going to sub k equals to 3. Agree or disagree? Y equals to 3x. Agree so far? All right, then now what are you going to sub? Yeah, I would prefer to sub x equals to 3, can? So y is equals to 3 times 3. So therefore, y is equals to 9. Agree or disagree? So my question, or in fact, the question says, explain if y, yes, right? Yes, y is directly proportional to, right? As the constant, what? K is always what? The same. You understand what I'm saying? All right, okay. Or in fact, you can say always the same for any values, of, or any values shared. Given in the, sorry, not shared, but given in the table. Can you understand? All right, so that's how you would do a question like this. Okay, so in the next question, it says that y is directly proportionate, right? So k bracket half x plus 1 to the power of 2, right? Now, what are you going to do first? Well, read the question, right? They say the difference in the values of y when x is close to 4. So stop here, go and find out what is this first. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so you're going to focus on this. Now you're going to say sub x is equals to 4 to find y. Can you understand? All right, so y is equals to k bracket half times 4 plus 1 to the power of 2. Do you understand? Bodmer's rule says what? I need to solve whatever that is in the bracket first. You understand? Half times 4 is what? 2, right? 2 plus 1 is what? 3. 3 to the power of 2. Can you understand? Y is equals to 9k. Are you understanding or not understanding? Okay. Now, of course, once you're done with this, then you can read the next part, right? Then the next part says what? When x is equals to what? 6. Agree or disagree? Right? When x is 6, when x is 6 is 28. So that one is, this 28 is the difference. Can you understand? All right, so we are not going to go there first. What we are going to do is we're going to sub x is equals to 6 to find y. Agree or disagree? Yeah, tell me.
You can make it simpler and just combine it. one formula.
Works too, works too. All right, but I will break it up like that. Okay, I'll break it up like that first. Half times 6 plus 1 to the power of 2, right? So y is equals to k bracket 3 plus 1 to the power of 2. Y is equals to k bracket 4 to the power of 2. Y is equals to how much? 16k. Agree or disagree? So therefore 16k minus 9k is equals to how much? How many k? 7k, right? 7k is equals to 28, correct? K is equals to 28 divided by 7, 7, 14, 21, 28, right? So that gets me to 4. Understand? Now, is this my answer?
No.
No. Why? Because the question says, so now you know k equals to 4, right? That's my constant, right? And I am very, very heartened about that. Agree or disagree? The value of y when x equals to how much? 0.5. So you say y is equals to k bracket half. Sorry, instead of k, you no longer write k. What do you write? You write 4, very good. 4 bracket half x plus 1 to the power of 2. Can? They say x equals to 0.5, so y is equals to 4 bracket half times 0.5 plus 1 to the power of 2. Are you understanding? All right, so solve this part first. Solve this part first. So what you're going to do is you're going to say y is equals to 4. Okay, over here, how much is that? Half times 0.5 plus 1, then you square it. Right now, this becomes how much? 25 over 16. Agree or disagree? Times 4, your y will therefore be 6.25, and that's your answer for this question. Now, in the next question, it says that P is directly proportionate to Q, so KQ. Can you understand? All right, when P equals to 2, 2 equals to what? Q. Obviously, what are you going to do? How are you going to do this? P is directly proportional to Q, right? That's the first thing that I'm going to write, right? And P equals to 2 when Q equals to 3. So P equals to 2 when Q equals to 3. So they are hinting you to go and find what? K, right? Because K is the only thing that is the unknown. Am I making sense? All right, so 2 is equals to 3k. What you're going to do is 3k is equals to 2. So k is equals to 2 over 3. Can you understand? Right? So what you're going to do is you're going to find an equation. Agree or disagree? All right, so p is equals to 2 over 3q. Does that make sense to you? All right, so to find the equation, this is the equation. Do you understand? Now, then after that, we move on and see that y is directly proportional. So y is equals to k bracket x plus 2 to the power of 3. Can you understand? All right, so you're going to sub in 4. 4 equals to what? K bracket 2 plus 2 to the power of 3. Are you understanding? Okay, so 4 is equals to what? K bracket 4 to the power of 3. Does it make sense to you? Solve this part first. True? 4 equals to 4 to the power of 3. 4 to the power of 3 is 64. So 64k. Are you understanding or not understanding? All right, so then from here itself, what happens is that 64k is equals to 4. So k is equals to 4 over 64. Do you understand? So k is equals to, when we do 4 over 64, what happens is that we will get to an answer of how much? 1 over 16. Understand? Now, but your job is not to write 1 over 16. Do you understand that? Your job is to make sure that k is now written as 1 over 16, because now you know that that is the value, and that's the reason why your answer for this question has to be y equals to 1 over 16 bracket x plus 2 to the power of 3. Now, in order for us to find b, right, b says to find the value of x when y goes to right. So we are going to write out first, then we are going to sub in whatever that we know, right? So we sub in 32. 32 equals to 1 over 16 bracket x plus 2 to the power of 3. Are you understanding or not understanding?
Yeah.
Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to bring this over. Agree or disagree? 32 divided by 1 over 16 is equals to x plus 2 to the power of 3. Agree or disagree? 32 divided by 1 over 16, we get to an answer of 512. Correct or not? X plus 2 to the power of 3. Make sense or don't make sense? Okay, then how do you remove the cube? You just have to cube root this part. Understand now? All right, you don't want to just leave it as cube. Can you understand? Okay, then from here itself, what is going to happen is that when you cube root 512, you get to an answer of 8. 8 equals to x plus 2. What are you going to do? You're going to bring the 2 over. Are you understanding? So 6 is equals to x. Agree or disagree? Once this is done, that is your answer already. All right, so this is your answer for this question. Now, so when we get the next question, you know that y is directly proportionate to the cube. True, right? When y equals to 15, so you see, what's your job? You get what I'm trying to say? Right? Your job is always the same. Your job is always the same to find the value of k. You get what I'm trying to say now? All right, so over here, what you're going to do is you're going to say 15 is equals to k bracket 3 to the power of 3. Do you understand? All right, so this becomes 15 is equals to k times what? Sorry, 3 to the power of 3, is it 9? No, right? It's 27. Do you understand? So 27k equals to 15. Agree? K is equals to 15 over 27. Do you understand or not understand? All right, when I do 15 over 27, our answer K is equals to 5 over 9. Is this something that you can understand? No, 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 no. Is this your answer? No, this is not your answer, right? So what you want to do is y equals to 5 over 9 bracket x plus 1 to the power of 3. And therefore, this is your answer for this question. Can you understand? Y equals to 5 over 9 bracket x plus 1 to the power of 3. Your job is to sub in the value of 120. Do you understand? All right, you see, math is all about finding the unknown. What is the unknown in this situation? The unknown in this situation is the value of x. Am I making sense? All right, so over here, you can see that this is a multiplication. Am I making sense? So your job is to do 120 divided by 5 over 9 first, equals to x plus 1 to the power of 3. Can you understand? Okay, then from here itself, what you're going to do is you're going to press your calculator and 120 divided by 5 over 9. Okay, when you do 120 divided by 5 over 9, you get 216, right? So x plus 1 to the power of 3. Can you understand? How are you going to remove the 3 over here? How are you going to remove the 3 over here? The 3 over here, you just have to cube it. 216. Can you understand? All right, so this is x plus 1. Are you understanding or not understanding? All right, so then you cube root 216, then you get to 6 over here. Agree or disagree? All right, x equals to 6 equals to x plus 1. Make sense? Bring the x over, bring the 1 over. When you bring the 1 over, what happens is that you're going to do 6 minus 1 equals to x, right? So therefore 5 is equals to x, and therefore your answer for this question has to be 5. In the next question, it says that y is directly proportionate, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to say that y is equals to k bracket x plus 2 to the power of 2. Am I making sense? Okay, then once you're done with this, right, your job is to find the value of k. Can you understand or not understand? Right? Because the question asks you for the equation connecting x and y. Am I making sense or not making sense? So over here, you get 4.5 is equals to k bracket x plus 2 to the power of 2. Can you understand or not understand? All right, but you realize that you don't have the value of x. Am I making sense or not making sense? So what you're going to do instead of 4.5, you're now going to change it to 8. Am I making sense? So 8 is over here. All right, my x is no longer x. I can put 2 over here. Am I making sense? So 8 equals to k bracket 4 to the power of 2. Correct now? 8 equals to 16k. True? All right, then from here, you continue. 16k is equals to 8. K is equals to 8 over 16. Do you understand? K is equals to half. Am I making sense? Okay, so if k is equals to half, you can form the equation, right? In this situation, how are you going to form the equation? You're going to say that y is equals to half bracket x plus 2 to the power of 2. So this is your answer for A. Am I making sense or not making sense? Now, of course, once I'm done, I'm going to find the value of p, right? So I'm just going to say y equals to half bracket x plus 2 to the power of 2. My job is to find the value of p. I know that my y is 4.5. I'm just going to sub y equals to 4.5 half bracket x plus, oh, in fact, you don't even need x. You say p plus 2 to the power of 2. Can you understand or don't understand? Now, of course, then once you're done with this, what you're going to do is you know that there's a multiplication sign over here, right? Now, so what you're going to do is 4.5. You bring the half over, you divide by half. Am I making sense? All right, so p plus 2 to the power of 2. Am I making sense? All right, so then over here, you go 4.5 divided by half. When you do 4.5 divided by half, what you're going to get is you're going to get to 9. Agree or disagree? All right, p plus 2 to the power of 2. Now, obviously, in order for me to remove away the 2, what do I have to do? I have to square root 9. Am I making sense? Plus minus equals to p plus 2. Is this something that you can understand? All right, then from here itself, all you need to do really is to say that p plus 2 is actually equals to 3, or p plus 2 is equals to minus 3. Do you understand or don't understand? All right, so p is equals to 3 minus 2, so p is equals to 1. That is the first part. That is not done. You are not done, right? So p plus 2 equals to negative. Over here is negative 3. Let me write properly. All right, so we know that negative 3 minus 2, we know that p is equals to negative 5, and that's your answer for this question. But the question says that the value of x has to be more than 0, correct now? So which one are you going to reject? You're going to reject this. Why are you rejecting this? Reject because x has to be more than 0. Can you understand or don't understand? So therefore, your answer has to be p equals to 1. And this is your answer for this question. Now, we are moving on to the next segment, which is what we call inverse proportion. Okay, so whatever that you have watched just now, it's all about direct proportion. Do you understand? All right, over here now we are looking at this question over here. As you can see over here, it says that Q is inversely. So Q equals, sorry, what Q? P is inversely, right? So P is equals to K over what? Q minus 3 to the power of 2. Can you understand? It is known that Q equals to 5 when P equals to 2. So when P equals to 2, all right, K over here is 5 minus 3 to the power of 2. Is this something that you can understand? All right, so when we have 5 minus 3 to the power of 2, what happens is that 2 is equals to K over, this is 2 to the power of 2. Then we continue from here. All right, 2 is equals to K over 4. Agree or disagree? All right, so K is actually equals to 2 times 4. All right, so 8 is equals to K. Am I making sense? If 8 is equals to K, of course, you don't stop here. What you're going to do is you're going to form your equation, right, that will connect P and Q together. So you are going to say that P is equals to 8 over bracket Q minus 3 to the power of 2. Am I making sense? When you have that, this is your answer for A. Am I making sense? Now, of course, then obviously what they want you to do, I'm going to use the next one in green. They say find the values of Q when P equals to 50, right? So P is equals to 8 over Q minus 3 to the power of 2. So P is equals to 50, 58 bracket Q minus 3 to the power of 2. Correct now. Now then the question is, wait, I want Q to be my what? Subject, correct or not? So what you're going to do is just swap position, right? So 50 tell Q minus 3 squared. Hey, can you swap position so that you can be the subject? And Q minus 3 squared says yes. So Q minus 3 squared goes up, 50 comes down. Am I making sense? All right, then from here itself, in order for you to remove away the square over here, you're going to basically do something called square root. Am I making sense? When you square root, there's always a plus and minus. Am I making sense? So what you are going to do now, you can say that Q is equals to square root. Go for the positive one, you're going to plus 3. Am I making sense? But when you plus 3, when you press your calculator, make sure that the plus is not inside the square. Make sense? All right. Over here, we will definitely say something or what? Square root negative 8 over 50 plus 3. Do you understand or don't understand? So Q is equals to what? Q equals to what? You can see over here. All right. It's square root. Okay. Square root. Okay, you press your calculator, 8 over 50. All right, make sure the plus is outside. You get to an answer of 3.4 over here. Okay, I want you to make sure you press your calculator so that you know what you're pressing. Be very careful about the plus that has to be outside. This plus is sometimes the killer. Understand or don't understand? Okay, so then the other value has to be 2.6. Am I making sense? All right, so that's the reason why your answer for this question for Q has to be these two amounts.
Wait, no, no. I
No. In the next question, right, as you can see over here, it says that a builder is to build a rectangular playground with dimensions x meter by y meter, given that x and y are inversely proportional. So what we are going to do is we're going to form the equation first. Can you understand this? All right, and then they say y equals to 34, x equals to 20. So 20 equals to k over 34. Do you understand? All right, so k is equals to what? 20 times 34. Is this something that you can understand? So k is equals to what? When you do 20 times 34, okay, what do you get? You get to an answer of 680. Agree? All right, then you form your equation, right? You form your equation x equals to 680 over y. Does that make sense to you? All right, and therefore, that's your answer for this question. Agree or disagree? All right, so when we say x is equals to 680 over y, you're going to sub in 15 over here. So 680 over y. All right, in order for you to find y, same thing. Y talk to 15. Y says, I want to be the subject, but you are on my seat. So 15 and y, they swap position. You say y equals to 680 over 15. All right, when you press your calculator, 680 divided by 15, we know that y is equals to an answer of 45, 1 over 3. And is that what they want us to find? Yes, they want us to find the value of y. Okay, now, just now we were doing direct, and then after that we moved on to inverse, and now finally we are on something called the three variables, okay? This is a very important, and I have a very specific method that I find it to be one of the best methods, okay, that you can use in order for you to solve this question. So make sure you watch this video to the very end, okay? So I'm going to jump to 18, right? Because this is a question that my students struggled with. Over here, is this the question, the painter's question? Now, I tell my students that you need to create how many columns? Not really columns, but rather, you know that 20 painters are able to paint. So painters, houses, and days. These are the different units that you have. Can you understand this? Okay, houses and days. And then over here, you have painters. Agree or disagree? All right, what happens is that we have 20 painters, right? How many houses? 4 houses, right? So 20 painters can paint 4 houses in 3 days. That's what they're trying to say, right? And 5 painters fell sick before the start of painting, and the remaining were told, the remaining is how many of them? 15 of them. Agree or disagree? Right, so 5 painters, when they were about to go for work, or even the day before going for work, they already fell sick. They tested COVID positive. Am I making sense? Right? One of them maybe fell down the staircase and sprained the ankle, right? You get what I'm trying to say? So over here, these 5 people, did they even come for work? They never even come for work. That means they contribute. They didn't even contribute. You understand? They didn't even bring up or take the pain at all. You understand? So then the remaining 15 people are like, yo, then now I have to go and take care of the, I need to do your job. You get what I'm trying to say? Alright, so no choice lah, bo pian, right? Correct or not? So 15 painters is over here. Can you understand? We're told to paint 6 houses. No, ayo, 6 houses, right? Now the question is this, right? How many days will be required to complete all the houses? Are you understanding or not understanding? So the first thing you want to ask yourself is a very simple question. Okay, the very simple question is this, okay? Which one is my unknown? Days. True. Whatever you want to find, you must always put X first. Am I making sense? All right. If this is the thing that you're going to find, you want to use Compare painters to days, okay? So now when painters decreases, now if I have lesser painters, think using logic, don't care about the houses, imagine houses is not here, okay? If I ask you painters and days, what is the relationship between painters and days? When I have lesser painters, that means I need more days or lesser days? When I have lesser painters, more days, thank you, right? So if this is more, this has to be more, right? What I am going to do is I'm going to look at 20 and 15. Which one is more? In this situation, 20 is more. Very good. So if 20 is more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 20 over 15 as my first equation. You understand? Okay, whatever that is suppose or in fact similar to this part, right? Say for example, if this is more, then this has to be more, right? I'm going to take the more as the numerator. Am I making sense? I'm forming an equation just for your information, okay? For those of you who are watching this and you're like a bit confused, what am I doing? I am forming equation, okay? So in fact, sit with me first, okay? Okay, be patient. Now, houses. If my houses increases, what happens? Do I need, yeah, always compare houses to days. Don't even care about the painter. Imagine painter is not there. Can? If I have more houses, that means I need more days. Agree or disagree? Right? To be able to paint it, right? So therefore, if that's the case, then this is more, right? So what did I say? What did I say? Whatever this is, so this is more, right? X has to be more, right? So you are going to use 6 over 4 as my 6 as my numerator, 4 as the denominator. You times, you should get to something called x equals to 3. So once you have this information, or in fact this equation, right, you're going to say 20 over 15 times 6 over 4 is equals to x over 3. So then your job now is to solve this part first. You get what I'm trying to say? 20 over 15 times 6 over 4. When you do that, right, 20 over 15 times 6 over 4, you get 2. 2 equals to x over 3. Agree or disagree? Right, same thing. X has to be the subject. So 3, you kick away 3. When you kick away 3, you have to multiply. So therefore, x is equals to 6. The question says how many days, right? So x is days, right? So therefore, your answer for this question has to be 6 days. Now, so for this question, it says that soldiers, again, 3 variables, okay? Soldiers are made to dig trenches to protect themselves from artillery fire out in the field. Now, this is something that you will only understand if you go through army, yeah? All right, then you will shout, arty, 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 okay? So that's something that you remember what I said, okay? Then when you go to army, you remember this, arty, 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 if you're in artillery, okay? Or maybe even if you are in VMP, you will experience that. Now, over here, they say soldiers take how many hours? How many trench? 1 trench, correct? Now, so 4 soldiers take 1 hour to dig 1 trench. Am I making sense? Now, the question says that assuming all the soldiers dig at the same rate, how long will it take for 7 soldiers? X is my unknown. Same thing, 1 trench. Are you understanding or not understanding? Okay, so this is relatively easy, not so complicated to really. So all you want to do is to compare soldiers to what is this? H as in hours, correct? Now, can you compare soldiers to hours? If I have more soldiers, do you think I need a longer time to dig a trench or lesser time? Lesser time. Why is it lesser time? More help, more hands to help, right? Correct. All right. People say what? Lend a helping hand, right? So that we are able to build a better place. No, that one anyhow make it up on. Okay, just saying. So this is more, right? So sorry, this is more, right? Agree or disagree? It's wrong. I was tricking you. What happens is that when you have more soldiers, then definitely this is less. Agree or disagree? Right? If this is less, which one is it that you're going to pick? You're going to pick 4. Am I making sense? As the not saying that you're going to kick away 7, but 4 as the numerator. Make sense? Can you understand or not understand? Okay, all right. So let me just re-explain one more time. Okay, again, more soldiers. What happens? Lesser hour. Lesser hour means I need to take. Which one is less? 4 and 7. Which one is lesser? So 4 has to be the numerator. If this is more, then I will take 7 as the numerator. Make sense? Okay, so over here, 1 over 1, don't need to care too much about 1 over 1 because whatever it is doesn't matter. Right, times 1 over 1 equals to x over 1. Can you understand? All right, so 4 over 7 is equals to 4 over 7 equals to x over 1. All right, so 4 over 7 is equals to x. What is 4 over 7? Let's press our calculator. 4 over 7 is basically what? 4 over 7 is basically 0 point something something hours, right? The question says what? How long, right? So yeah, definitely you just say 4 over 7 hours, and that's your answer for this question. No. Same thing, 3 variables, right? The question says what? 4 workers can complete an assignment in 15 days. So workers, assignment, and days. Are you understanding? 4 workers over here, 1 assignment, and 15 days. Agree or not? Assuming all the workers work at the same rate, find the number of days taken by 3 workers to complete the assignment, which is 1 assignment, right? So what is my x? My x has to be days. Am I making sense? So then ask yourself a very simple question. When the workers decreases, do you think the days needed or taken to complete will be more? Definitely, right? Right? So this has to be more, right? If this is more, Which one is more? True. So which one am I going to use as my numerator? Is it 3 or 4? Very good. 4 has to be my numerator. Am I making sense or not making sense? All right, so 4 over 3, all right, times 1 over 1 is equals to x over 15. Is this something that you can understand? All right, so once you are done with this, what you're going to do is you're going to solve it out, right? 4 over 3 is equals to x over 15. And then what you're going to do is really, you're just going to make sure you cross multiply. Is that true? Yeah, you can, but actually you don't even need to cross multiply. It's too complicated. You want to remove away the 15, right? And the 15 is in the what place? It's in the division. Am I making sense? All right, so 4 over 3 times 15 over 1 is equals to x. Am I making sense? Okay, so when I do 4 over 3, when I do 4 over 3 times 15, we get to an answer of 20. 20 is equals to x, right? So therefore, in this situation, the days taken will be 20 days. Am I making sense? Okay, so that is your answer for A. Now, of course, then now we are going to go to B. Yeah? B says what? Additional workers needed if the assignment is to be completed in how many days? 10 days. So same thing. Use the same one, right? W, A, and D. What happens is that 4 and 1 and 15, right? What happens in the question? The question say how many more workers you need. So X is your answer. Lah. Agree or disagree? Right? If the assignment is still 1, right? To be completed in how many days? 10 days, right? So now my question to you is this. When the number of days needed to complete an assignment drops, do you think I need more people? I say this again. You see, 15 dropped to 10, right? Now I am on a time crunch. Am I making sense? So I'm trying to, hey, guys, get more people, correct now? So this has to be more. Agree or disagree? If this is more, that means I have to take more as my numerator. So 15 over 10. Do you understand? Times 1 over 1 is equals to what? X over 4. Is this something that you can understand? Then over here you say x over 4 is equals to 15 over 10. Agree or disagree? All right, what you're going to do is you're going to say x is equals to what? 15 over 10 times 4 over 1. Agree or disagree? All right, so x is equals to what? X is equals to what? 15 over 10. All right, 15 over 10 times 4 over 1. We get to an answer of 6. So what is this 6? 6 is basically 6 what? Workers. Am I making sense? But the question is not asking you for you how many workers, right? The question says what? I want you to tell me how many additional. Agree or disagree? So at first you already have 4, right? So additional workers, so add workers. In this situation, you already have 4, right? Initially, right? So now you do 6 minus 4, your answer has to be 2, and that's your answer for this question. No. In the next question, it says that it takes how many? It takes how many men? Men, 8 men, houses, 2, right? Days, how many? 4, right? Given that all the men work at the same rate, how many days will it take for 6 men to paint 3 houses? So X is your days. Agree or disagree? So let's go one by one first, okay? I'm going to compare. What am I going to compare? I'm going to compare this to this. Agree or disagree? Right? If I compare this to this, everything has to be compared to days. Am I making sense? Okay, so if my number of men drop, that means I need more days, right? True? So I need more, right? So if I need more, then I'm going to use this as my numerator. Am I making sense? So 8 over 6. Agree? Now you compare houses to days, all right? If my houses increase, more houses needed for me to paint, right? So definitely I need more, right? So 3 over 2. Can you understand? All right, that means I need more once again. Agree or disagree? Right, you times, you get to x over 4. Is this something that you can understand or don't understand? All right, so 3 over 2. Agree or disagree? Right, over here, this is actually equals to what? X over 4. Agree or disagree? All right, so what you want to do is you want to solve whatever that is over here, solve whatever that is over here. Okay, you can solve whatever that's over here, right? You will basically say 8 over 6 times 3 over 2. You get to an answer of 2. 2 is equals to x over 4. Agree or disagree? All right, so therefore your x is actually equals to 2 times 4. X is equals to 8. Agree or disagree? Sorry, I apologize. I should write x over here. So 8 equals to x. Agree? All right, the question asking for more is the question asking for how many days, right? How many days, right? So therefore, you need a total of how many days? Your answer has to be 8 days. And that's your answer for this question. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at this question. As you can see over here, it says that 2 workers, so 2 workers, all right, can paint one school, in how many days? In 9 days, right? In fact, we don't even write one school, we'll just write 2 workers in 9 days. Am I making sense? Now, but this person actually went to get more workers, you understand? All right, maybe this person says like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to speed up the whole process. Agree or disagree? Right? So from here to here, right, you know that this is basically times 3, correct now? But can you go and times 3 over here? To say that more, then what's the point of getting more workers? You get what I'm trying to say? Right, more workers is supposed to help you to speed up the process. You understand or don't understand? So this is divided by 3. So over here you get to 3 days. Am I making sense? All right, and this will get you to paint one school. Am I making sense? All right, so we know from here itself, right, we can also infer that one school will definitely need 3 days. Am I making sense? All right, but what if it's one day? What if it's one day? One day will be 1/3 of the school. True? All right, one day will be one third of the school, right? So 3 days, first one is one third, then two third, then three third, correct? Now, what happened is that after working for 2 days, so you see, what I'm going to draw is I'm going to draw the timeline. Day one, or in fact, I will say day zero all the way to day two, right now. Then after until day whatever day it will be, yeah. But what we are trying to tell you, or what I'm trying to tell you here, is that in the first 2 days, how many workers are there? Six, correct now. So we can use back this, right? So 2 days, right? That means they have already been two-thirds of the school. Am I making sense? All right, 2 days, that means they have already been how much of the school? Two-thirds of the school. Agree or disagree? Right? Two-thirds of the school, so they are like, yes, we're almost done. We are left with 1/3. Everyone, don't give up. Next moment, hello, I'm sick. Hello, I'm sick. How many hello, I'm sick you hear? Two times. Correct now. So you're like, wait a minute. I am left with only one third of the school. Agree or disagree? And this one third of the school, how many days will it be? You know why the number of days will change? Because now it's no longer six workers. Agree or disagree? Now it's down to 4 workers. Agree or disagree? So what you will do is you will form your workers, school, and days. All right, 2 workers, 1 school, 9 days. Am I making sense? Now you have 4 workers. How many? How much of the school? One third of the school. X is the number of days. Am I making sense? Then you're going to look at this, compare this to this. Once again, compare. All right, what do you see? You see that the number of workers increase or decrease. That means I need more days or lesser days. No, the number of workers, yeah, lesser day, right? Lesser day, that means I'm going to take this as my numerator. Am I making sense? So 2/4 first, okay? Times. Now, then after that, I will look at the next part, which is number of school decrease, right? Number of school decrease means I will definitely need lesser days, right? So that means this is less. Agree or disagree? This is also less, right? So what happens is that we're going to use 1/3 as my numerator. Are you understanding? X over 9. Is this something that you can understand? Then from here itself, we can solve this part, right? So you can basically do 2/4. 2/4 times 1/3. 2/4 times 1/3, what happens is that you get to an answer of 1/6, right? 1/6 equals to x over 9. Is this something that you can understand? Okay. Then from here, what is going to happen is that you're going to bring this 9 over, right? So 1/6 times 9 is equals to x. Am I making sense? 1/6 times 9, you get to an answer of 3/2. 3/2 is equals to x. What is 3/2? 3/2 is basically how much? 1.5. Very good. 1.5 what? In this situation is 1.5 what? X is what? X is number of days, right? So 1.5 days. Am I making sense? But is this your answer? No. Why? Because they are asking for total, right? So how total number, so at first they work for 2 days, right? Then after that they added 1.5 days. Agree or disagree? So 3.5 days. That means they use 3.5 days to paint the school. Now then, when the boss comes out, the project manager comes and say, hey, I thought we are supposed to only use 3 days. I thought we are supposed to only use 3 days. What happened? Why now 3.5?
A school person.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Zhang and Mr. Xuan, Mr. Zhang and Mr. Xuan fell sick. That's why now we need what? More time. Can you understand? All right, and that's how you would solve a question like this. Now, a camp is planned for a group of how many people? 40 students, right? And the amount of food prepared would last for how many days? 5 days. Okay, it's given that the number of students using S to represent students. Okay, S is what? Inversely proportionate to the number of. So you have this. Agree or disagree? All right, so the first answer, obviously you won't write this, right? Why? Because K is still my unknown. Make sense? All right, 40 students, so 40 is equals to K over 5. Agree or disagree? All right, so what you want to do is you want to find K, right? So how do you do that? You just have to do 40 times 5. Am I making sense?
Yes.
All right, so 200. 200 is my K. So we say S is equals to 200 over D. And this is your answer for this question. No. So the school would like to have more students. The school says, hey, we need to let more students come now. Right now, even though we don't have enough budget for more food, but we will have more students come, then now we will reduce the number of days. Okay? So we reduce the number of days to how many? 4 days, Can. So we write S over here. What else do we have? Students. After that, we also have what? Food, correct or not? After that, we also have what? We also have days. Agree or disagree? Right? Agree or disagree? All right. So now, initially was what? What was the initial plan? The initial plan was what? 40 students. Correct or not? For how can it last for how many days? Initially, the plan was 40 students can last for how many days? 5 days. Make sense? 40 students can last for 5 days. Same amount of food. Same amount of food. You understand? How many days?
Oh,
4 days. True. So how many more students? You get what I'm trying to say? Because when this drop, this decreases, right? What's your job is to find this. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Right? So this one is what? 5 to 4. How do you get from 5 to 4? How do you get from 5 to 4? You just have to divide by 5/4. True? Can you understand? All right. So when you want to do that, you have to times 5/4 over here. Agree or disagree? Right? Because why are you timesing? Because you know this is inversely proportional, right? Lesser days, yeah, more students can come. Can you understand? So to find x, this is not even 3 variables. Are you understanding? So it's just 40 times 5/4. Agree or disagree? All right. So in this situation, it's 50 students. Make sense? The question is not asking you how many students in the end. The question is asking you how many what? More students. How do you find how many more students? How many more students will be 50 minus away 40?
You can just use the equation from before.
Yeah, you can actually just use the equation from before to solve this question. Okay? All right. Yeah, or you can do it in this manner. Okay, so that's how you would do a question like this. Now we are going to go into another segment, which is possibly one of the most difficult one, right? Where increase and decrease is, involved. Am I making sense? Okay, now first thing first, always start with this. Y is directly proportionate to the cube root of x. Cube root of x means k cube root x. Can you understand? All right, it is known that y is 30 for a particular value of x. So 30 is equals to k cube root x. Are you understanding? Okay. Now, once you're done with this, then you can read the next sentence. The next sentence says, find the value of y when this value of x is increased by how many percent? Initially was 100%, right? Right? You increase by 700%. So what are you right now? You have 800% right now. Agree or disagree? Right? So that means instead of x, you will now have y is equals to k cube root as well, 8x. Are you understanding? Now, I always tell my students, right? Whenever you're solving questions like that, you must know what you're trying to find. What are you trying to find? Value of?
X.
No, value of? Why? You're trying to find value of y. Agree or disagree? Right? So if you're trying to find value of y, you need to make y the subject. Am I making sense? So y is equals to what? We can split this up. Okay, we can split this up. In fact, what I will say is that this is so-called my O. Can you see that? This is my 逆位. Are you understanding or not understanding? Okay, what's my O? My O in this situation, is 30 equals to k times cube root x. Am I making sense? So I'm going to split this up. How am I going to split this up? Very simple. Very simple. Watch. You're going to have, you will try your best to have this written out. Can you see that? All right, you will try your best to have this written out. Okay, so what is going to happen is that you're going to have this over here. Can you see that? All right, what else are you left with? Times how much? Over here you will be, can you see this? Okay, all right, so that's how you would do this question. Are you understanding? All right, so when you split it up, you realize that y is equals to how much? Wait, what is this? Did you realize that this is actually from where? This is actually from where? From here, true or not? All right, and what is the value of that? That is 30. Agree or disagree? Times, how much is this? This one is how much? When you do cube root 8, when you do cube root 8, you get to an answer of 2. Agree or disagree? Right, so y is equals to 60. Am I making sense? Okay, now the question is asking us to find the value of y, right? So therefore, that is your value of y. Now, y is inversely proportionate, all right, to the square root. So y is inversely proportionate to the square root. Can see? All right, it is known that y equals to 64 for a particular value. Okay, so once again, over here, they want us to find y, right? If they want us to find y, my oy is over here, right? What's my new y? My new one is going to be y is equals to k over, now, first thing first, the question says what? It is increased by how much? 300%. So initially it was 100%. If it increased by 300%, now becomes 400%. Do you understand? All right, if it becomes 400%, then what you're going to do is you're going to have 4x over here. Does that make sense to you? All right, so y is equals to, same thing. You're going to split this up. You're going to have k over square root x first, and then the other one is what? What is the other one? 1 over square root 4. Can you understand? Make sense? Right? So you can see what k over square root x is how much? What is k over square root x? That gets me to a value of how much? 64. True? Times what is 1 over square root 4? What is 1 over square root 4? 1 over square root 4 is actually equals to half. Am I making sense? So y is equals to 64 times half. What is 64 times half? 64 times half is actually equals to 32. Do you understand or not understand? All right, when 64 times half equals to 32, your value of y, or in fact, I will say your new y now has to be 32. And that's your answer for this question. Now, as you can see over here, it says that a stone is stuck to a string and whirled in a circular path. Now, don't I understand that this can, you see the starting sentence, it's already confusing for students. You understand what I'm saying? Like the moment they read this sentence, right, they can't even do already. But I tell them, relax. Relax. Why? Why? Why do we have to relax? Because all you need to do really is to make sure that you focus on the letters that they have given to you. You understand? Not the inward force on the right. But F, you just focus on F. You understand? Not focus on inversely proportion. So K on top, right? To the square of the length. So R to the power of 2. Do you understand? All right. A stone wheel in a circle with radius 0.5. Radius 0.5 requires what? 10 what? Newtons. 10 newtons to keep in its path. Am I making sense? All right, so you know that 10 is over here, right? Correct or not? Because 10 newtons is using F. Agree or disagree? Right, equals to how much? K over what's your R? R over here is 0.5, right? To the power of 2. Correct or not? Okay, so then over here you can see all you want to do is you want to make sure K is isolated, right? So K is equals to 10 times 0.5 to the power of 2. Are you understanding? So K is equals to how much? K is equals to how much? 2.5, right? True. So F is equals to 2.5 over R squared. Okay, so that's your answer for A. A is very simple. Can? Now, the length of the string is changed such that the inward force, so F is equals to 2.5 R squared, right? It's now 5 newtons. Newtons is using what to represent F, right? True. Find the new length. The new length is using R, right? Correct or not? So we say 5 is equals to 2.5 R squared. Agree or disagree? Yeah, right. R squared and 5, they go on a call and say, R, you are supposed to be the main subject, right? Correct or not? So what we're going to do is we're going to swap position. Agree or disagree? All right, so how are we going to swap position? You're going to say R squared equals to 2.5 divided by 5. Do you understand so far? 2.5 divided by 5, R squared is equals to half. Am I making sense? So R is actually equals to square root plus minus half. Does it make sense to you? All right, when you do square root plus minus half over here, in fact, you see square root, all right? So R is equals to what? How much is R? R is equals to, you see, you square root half, you'll get to R equals to 0.7071. Am I making sense? Now you are going to turn this into three significant figure. R equals to 0.707, right? Now if you're wondering, then what about negative? What if it's negative? What if it's negative? If it's negative, am I supposed to you can, but in this situation, I don't think your radius will be negative. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's why I'm only showing the positive one. Make sense? Now, next one, the length of the string. So instead of seeing it as the length of the string, you can see it as R. Am I making sense? Okay, so what's your O? Your O one is actually F is equals to 2.5 over R squared. Agree or disagree? Right, this is your O. Okay, so I'm just going to write over here. This is your O. Can see or cannot see? All right, what's your new? What happens to your new? Okay, so now you are supposed to find your new, right? In order for you to find your new, you will say F is equals to what? They say what? Increase by 50%, right? So 2.5 over R becomes what? Instead of 100% now is what? 1.5 R to the power of 2. Can you understand? Okay, so then F is equals to what? 2.5. Then remember that this square spills into both of it. Do you understand? All right, 1.5 to the power of 2 is actually 2.25 R squared. Can you understand? Now, then what you're going to do is same thing. You're going to split it up. What you're going to split up? You're going to split this up. Correct now? You're going to have 2.5 over R squared. Why is that so? Because it's over here. True? Make sense or don't make sense? All right, times 1 over 2.25. Okay, so then did you realize that this itself, right, is already what? It's already F. Am I making sense? Okay, so F times 1 over 2.25. This you will say F is equals to F times 1 over 2.25. 2.25, right? So 1 over 2.25, 1 over 2.25, you get to an answer of 4 over 9. Can you understand? So your new F is going to be 4 over 9. Now, we are going to look at, again, this is the highest level, okay, of direct and inverse. Can? I'm going to look at the last one. Can you see the last one? Now, the last one says that given that A is directly proportionate to the cube of B. Can you see that? When a equals to 24, for a particular value of that, so k b cubed. Can you understand? Okay, so this is the first one. Got it? All right. Find the value of a when this value of b is half. So what happens is that there's a new over here. Can you understand? Sorry, what am I saying? Why is it new? It has to be O. Am I making sense? All right, there's an O over here. Where's my new? My new is over here. Can you understand or not understand? All right, so I'm going to show you my new. So in this situation, you know, right? They say find the value of A. You see the keyword says find the value of what? A, right? When this value of B is what? Half. Half. So A equals to K. Instead of B, you will now have half a B to the power of 3. Why is it half a B? Because B was 1 at first. I half it, becomes half a B. Can you understand? All right, A equals to K. What happens is that the 3, you're going to spill into each of it. Can you understand? You can see, right? Over here, we go half to the power of 3. We go half to the power of 3. We get to 1 over 8. So times 1 over 8 B cubed. Can you understand so far? All right. So then this becomes A is equals to K. Or in fact, I would say 1 over 8. I would say 1 over 8 KB cubed. Can you understand? All right. The numbers should always come first. 1 over 8 KB cubed. Okay. I don't know if you realize, all right, I already have the value of KB cubed. What is the value of KB cubed? In my O, I realized that KB cubed is how much? 24. Yeah, so I just have to times 24. Can you understand? So this is very similar to the percentage part. Can? Right, so A is equals to 3. Can you understand so far? All right, and that is the reason why your answer for this question has to be 3. Now the next part, right, is that F is directly proportionate to to R squared. Correct now? F is 36. So 36 equals to K R squared. So again, this is my O. Correct now? Why is it O? Because something was this and something happened. You get what I'm trying to say? What happened is that the value of R is doubled. Make sense? All right, so my new in this situation is going to be F is equals to the value of what? R, right? R is doubled. Doubled means what? Times 2. Can you understand or not? Right? K bracket 2R to the power of 2. Can you understand? F is equals to K. What happens to my square? My square spill into everything, right? Times 4R squared. Am I making sense? All right, F is equals to what? 4KR squared. Are you understanding? And I want to find my new F. Agree or disagree? All right, you realize that KR squared already has a value to it, right? Because you see, if you don't plug a value in, you have so many unknowns. Am I making sense? Right? But you already know that KR squared has a value over here. True or not? Right? What is the value over here? The value is 36, right? So 4 times 36. Can you understand? All right, so my new F is in this situation will be 4 times 36. We get to an answer of 144. All right, is this my answer? This is my answer for this question. And with that, I've come to the end of inverse and direct proportion. All right, make sure you subscribe, like my video, and comment below if you would like to see more of such videos. See you, bye.
Hi everyone, if you like this video, you can click right here for a similar video or you can view our playlist here.